my blank unit circle. That's my blank unit circle. I can make it bigger if I want to, but let me place, we already calculated the special angles on the first quadrant. So this is 0 degrees. I hope you agree. I am looking at the standard angles. This is 30 degrees. And this is half of the first quadrant, 45 degrees. And this is 60 degrees. And this is 90 degrees. Let me write 90 here. So, you know what? All you actually need to know all these angles. If you know all these angles, you have a lot. You have not a lot, because I can now write there. Let's write their let's write the angles in terms of radian. So I can just put the radian somewhere and then write them in radian form. So let me write in blue. So 0 degree, and I'm going to call it 0 radian. But remember, we talked about 30 degrees, and we found out that 30 degrees is pi over 6 radian. We talked about 45 degrees. We know that 45, we found it to be pi over 4 radian. We found 60 to be equal to pi over 6 radian. We found 90 to be equal to pi over 2 radian. All right, so far we're not going to be too much in a hurry, but you see, if you know the unit circle in this class, no matter where we are, when we get to polar coordinate in unit 4, we shall still be talking about unit circle, directly or indirectly. Wherever we are, we shall be talking about unit circle, so you might as well know it. So this is the first quadrant. All right, before we continue, I just want to make us remember. We want to remember I'm going to my whiteboard, and let us remember what we learned from geometry. Hopefully, you learn something like this in geometry. It's called SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And they all connect to right triangles. Forgive my crooked right triangle. And let's call this angle theta. And you see, this is opposite to theta, adjacent to theta, and hypotenuse. So let me just write opposite to theta. So I am... All right, so I am going to write that as the opposite to theta. So opposite, because I'm talking about theta. Adjacent to theta. Hypotenuse of theta. All right. Also, very soon we shall be, but what does so mean? So means sine. There are 6 trig ratios we need to know. Sine of angle theta is opposite to theta over hypotenuse. Opposite to theta over hypotenuse. All right. And cosine of theta. That's what we learned from, hopefully, we learned from geometry from high school. Cosine of theta is adjacent. All you need to remember it is SOHCAHTOA. It may not be in your textbook, but trust me, SOHCAHTOA has been running. That's what you need to remember. So this means that cosine is adjacent to theta over hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse, adjacent to theta over hypotenuse. And tangent of theta, tan theta, is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay. Also, the sine, cosine, and tangent, they have, I'm calling them bro. I'm calling them brothers. They have brothers, or you can call them sisters. So sine theta has a sister or a brother that's called cosecant. If you did not do it in geometry, that's okay, because we are trying to summarize what you did. Very soon we shall start applying them in solving problems. But I want to just refresh your memory about your geometry in high school. All right, so sine has a brother called cosecant. I'm just going to write CSC, cosecant, CSC. And I will clean my big triangle here. I will clean it so that I can make it smaller. But even if I don't draw that triangle again, well, guess what? The cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So since I already know sine, cosecant of theta is the reciprocal of sine, hypotenuse over opposite. Cosine also has a brother, call it a sister if you like, and that is secant. And secant of theta is the reciprocal of adjacent over hypotenuse. So now I can say hypotenuse over adjacent. Over adjacent. Also, tangent has a brother called cotangent, and I'm going to just call it cot. So cotangent is the reciprocal tangent, therefore it is hypotenuse over opposite. Not hypotenuse, by the way. Tangent is opposite over SOHCAHTOA, sorry. Opposite over adjacent. Opposite over, forgive me for that, opposite over adjacent. So let me go back and say it is adjacent over opposite. Cotangent is adjacent over opposite. Okay, tangent has no business with hypotenuse, so forgive me for that. Tangent has no business with hypotenuse. Okay, so cotangent is adjacent over opposite. Adjacent over opposite. So since tangent is opposite over adjacent, therefore cotangent, the reciprocal, is adjacent over opposite. Okay, and so when we call this the 6 trigonometric ratios. 6 trig ratios.